I've run out of intros, so I'm just going to start stealing intros from others. Hello everyone, it's Xtropic, and welcome to Happy Harlen-ween. A month that's big on spooks, news, and ostriches. Today we're going to be talking about what I like to call the sub-modern version of Ozzie. One that is eerily similar to the one that is set to release, yet is wildly more unhinged. And before we go into specific, I'd like to issue a quick trigger warning. If you are upset or disturbed by anything on this screen now, please leave and wait for the next Happy Harlen-ween video, which is sure to be more light-hearted. There was a reason this was scrapped, and it will be evident if you continue watching. You have been warned. And with this, let's go straight on to... When I said Ozzie Episode 1 was entering development, this is the version of Episode 1 I was talking about. And considering how it started, you would have had zero clue what was going on. Instead of being purposefully ambiguous about the incident that led to the robots being taken in by James Elliott, I just flat out showed it, with this song in the background actually playing as they free fell from the sky and just crashed an Astro-Tech event. That's right, you freaking Dubai chocolate munching Labubu collecting weirdos. K-pop demon hunters didn't invent falling out the sky to music. There then would have been a montage where Telai makes quick work of basically just ruining their reputation before getting into where the actual episode 1 starts off. As I said before, you basically have no clue what was going on, and I like the newer version of the incident that's revealed through the dialogue of season 1 without explicitly being shown. One last major thing of note before we move on is that Telai was going to be a human in the intro of episode 1. This is because the disappearance of John Miller / DreamDreamDream.mp4 hadn't begun development properly until October of that year, meaning the Wanderer and Telai's backstory weren't properly fleshed out until I begun writing that short. Episode 2 probably would have been the same, Doomsday at the start, you know, probably a little bit less Never-Ending Realm scenes in the older version. Episode 3 was originally going to be called Telai Vision instead of Lights, Camera, Action. Episode 4 would have remained the same. Episode 5 actually wasn't thought of back then, but it's a camping episode now. Now, 6 and 7 and 8 is when we get into the disturbing stuff, so I do give you a heads up. Episode 6 was originally going to be much shorter than the rest of the episodes, narrowly reaching the double digits in fact. This episode had no villains, no Xtropic, no Telai, no Wanderer. It was just Ozzie and the gang being forced to live on the streets after Ozzie attacked James Elliott. They were given a credit card, and this entire episode is basically them messing around with the credit card, going clubbing and having the time of their lives. All except for EB. Near the end of the episode, EB leaves everyone, goes outside of a club, into the alleyway, and just sulks and looks up at the manor of the hill. The manor that he used to call a home. Then Are We Still Friends by Tyler the Creator starts playing, as he slowly begins a 7-mile walk to the pier. As he walks, he reminisces on the numerous memories he had with Tessa, and he even walks in a few locations that would have been featured in Syntax. He eventually reaches the pier, and just as the song is about to reach its climax, he pulls out the revolver that Tessa gave him all the way in the first episode, looking at it and completely blaming himself for getting everyone kicked out the manor despite having nothing to do with it. And as the song reached its climax, let's just say AB used the gun to not exist, meaning that the first true casualty of a main character in this series would have been at their own hands. Cut to the penultimate episode, and it's revealed that Xtropic was controlling Dr. Asterman's corpse, the CEO of Astro-Tech, using a special technology that he was purely testing on Dr. Asterman's corpse to manipulate Tessa and extort James Elliott out of a lot of money. Money that would be invaluable in escaping Harlen. Then, in the finale, with no EB, Tessa wasn't able to be warned in time, meaning both the innocent characters just die. What makes it even worse is that EB is a robot. He could feasibly be brought back in season 2, but Tessa can't be. And considering EB did that in the first place because he felt like he failed at his one objective, protecting Tessa, there would be no point, meaning that these two are both effectively dead. As the fight rages on, a massive crowd would appear. All of Harlem would have been there, cheering Ozzie and crew on as they were slowly defeating Squadron Death, until the Wanderer sees someone in that crowd. His wife, the person he loved more than anything in the world, standing there, cheering for his downfall. In the calmest you've seen the Wanderer, his crystal would start glowing and he'd slowly walk towards the crowd, probably trying to communicate to his past wife. Before Xtropic would punch a hole in the back of the Wanderer's head, rip his brain out and sneer coldly,
"There's always traitors to the cause.
before throwing the Wanderer's limp body to the floor and just ramming through Willy. Eventually, the episode would end and there would just be a cliff. The same cliff where Ozzie and crew used to stay with Tessa and overlook the entirety of Harlen, except now, no one's there. Everyone who used to be there being within Harlen still roaming the streets, or being dead. When I say Ozzie is dark, I mean it. I'm not even going to say anything about the modern take, but in previous takes of a season 1, almost no one got a happy ending. And yet when it comes to like the actual main cast of characters, Xtrop only directly caused one of them, with Evie and Tessa's deaths purely being based off his actions and how they affected them weeks after the fact. In Tessa's case, not even properly meeting Xtrop. This was because in this version of Ozzie, Xtrop had already completed his goal, and he was purely there for the sadistic pleasure of playing with Harlen's citizens while he found a way out of the dome. Most of the deaths in this version of Ozzie wouldn't have been by his hand, but by his presence. Which shockingly means via physical attributes, modern Xtrop would theoretically be worse. And that's really it. I hope you enjoyed looking at this more dark, twisted, scrapped version of what's about to come out. I hope it's clear why I cancelled it, but hey, you might have actually liked this version based on like the details I gave. You sadist. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. I still don't have an outro, do I?